Hi friends, my name is David McLeod. I'm your life mastery coach, founder of The Magic of I Am, and creator of the Daily Affirmation program. Welcome to this week's presentation. Are there people in your life who seem to have the ability to find and push your buttons and trigger you into some kind of reactive state? I know that I've had plenty of people like that in my life, and not surprisingly, new ones keep showing up all the time. I used to have a really hard time with people like that. And before I really understood the nature of projection, I had no trouble at all holding them responsible. I remember often saying things to people, things like these. How dare you say that about me? Who do you think you are anyway? Or, you make me so angry when you do that. Or, what? You think my girlfriend's a flake? How can you say that? She's amazing. Now, of course, your own experience is probably quite different than mine. But I'll bet you've had your buttons pushed. Am I right? And you may also have found yourself saying things similar to what I just said to those people in your life. But you know, one day I noticed something. I noticed that whenever I was pointing the finger of blame on someone else, holding them responsible for pushing a button within me, what I was really doing was abdicating my own responsibility. In reality, all that was happening was that the other person was saying or doing something that was consistent with his or her model of the world. Everything else was just my own reaction. And no matter how much I might want to blame others outside of myself, my reaction was my responsibility. I think most of us can recognize this idea as a pretty reliable truth, and frankly, pretty easy to see and understand. Well, for me it turned out to be a very liberating and uplifting experience as well. I started asking myself questions. I wondered, why am I so quick to blame someone else for my reaction anyway? Could it be that there is something within me that I'm avoiding looking at? Could it be that what they are saying and doing is actually true for me too? If so, what does that say about me? These questions and others like them eventually led me to learn more about projections and what they really mean. And it wasn't long before I came to the conclusion that everything we imagine about others is really just our own projection. Everything we think about what is happening in the world around us is really just putting our own experience on the world that we believe is outside of ourselves. Now I have to say, it might take a little while for this concept to sink in and make sense to you. You might find yourself resisting this on some level. I know I certainly resisted the idea for a while. I remember saying things to myself like, well, I may have a judgment or projection that guy over there is a jerk, but come on, just look at him. He really is a jerk. Well, one day it occurred to me. It doesn't really matter whether the other person is a jerk or not. What really matters is my own reaction to it. And more important than that, what does this other person reflect from within me that I really don't want to accept or look at? Or to phrase it a little differently, how is that person reflecting the jerk within me? As soon as I was able to accept this question within myself, without trying to defend myself with statements like, I am most certainly not a jerk, then I was able to look at myself with a lot more compassion and acceptance. I was able to see my own jerkiness for what it was, an unconscious method of keeping myself safe. So my recognition of my own judgments and projections turned out to be a powerful and illuminating liberation for me. And the compassion I was able to bring to myself, I was also then able to share with the people and I was holding responsible for my reaction in the first place. Nowadays, I see projection as a wonderful gift. All the people in my life, whether I know them intimately or not, are gifts for me because they reflect aspects of myself that I might not otherwise be able to see or feel. And this helps to raise awareness and acceptance of who I really am. You can experience this freedom for yourself too if you want to. This week, anytime you find yourself triggered into some reaction because of something someone else did, notice the judgments you might have about that person and simply ask yourself the question, what is it about this person that is tweaking me so much? What is it in myself that this person is illuminating that I really don't want to look at? Give yourself loving permission to look at it, and then bring compassionate healing to that part of yourself. May you find yourself feeling even more complete with this practice, and may you begin to see these external triggers as gifts for your own continuing growth. Blessings on your journey.